This is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
Right now at 6 on Good Morning Indiana. Students at a local school district told to stay home because of the coronavirus.
Sit tight. We don't want to start all over again.
This morning, parents are weighing in on the closure.
Plus, we're looking at how the spread of the COVID-19 virus could impact big events planned for the Circle City.
It's a wet start to our day, but the good news is the rain does not stick around all day. We'll have your hour-by-hour forecast.
And tonight, a local school board is meeting for the first time since dozens of students walked out of class. We're previewing what's expected to be a heated meeting.
6 o'clock here on your Tuesday morning. Thanks so much for joining us.
It is great to be back with my morning family. It is wet outside, but I hear we have good news on the way.
Yeah, well, it's great to have you back. We got to check in with Todd. I guess the good news you could say, Todd, is that rain is starting to inch closer to Ohio, right?
Yeah, the heaviest of the rain is getting ready to push into Ohio, and the back edge of the rain is making its way out of Illinois into central Indiana. So the further east you are, the longer you'll hang on to the rain. But you notice here in Terre Haute, we're tapering everything off to just some scattered showers. We'll start off, though, in eastern locations, Greensburg up to Connorsville into the Richmond area. We're dealing with scattered showers. There goes that batch of real heavy rain that started off in the Bedford area this morning and then moved through Greensburg and Seymour and Columbus, and now it's getting ready to push into the Cincinnati area. Some scattered rain with some heavier downpours north of Bloomington as you come up I-69 to where it merges in with Indiana Route 37 there as you make your way into Morgan County. Then some scattered showers to the north here as well. So it's a wet start to our day, but we really only have a couple more hours of the rainfall. So while you'll need the umbrella this morning, you will not need it this afternoon. That is the good news. It's a quick shot of rainfall here. It comes to an end by about 8 o'clock as we get you out the door, and then just mostly cloudy skies by the noon hour. However, look at the temperature trend. We're in the mid to upper 50s right now, down to 54 degrees by 8 a.m., and then we're down to 49 degrees for your temperature as we head into the noon hour. Lauren?
All right, Todd, thanks for keeping a close eye on traffic this morning. As we've showed you earlier, we do have the wet roads out there, so use caution. This is a live look right now over on the northeast side, I-465 and East 56th Street. Traffic here is moving along up to speed, as you can see. So let's head over to our Traffic Now maps and plan out your commute heading in from the northwest side. Starting off here at I-865 up in the dog leg, heading downtown I-70 at the North Split. It's a 17-minute drive. That is normal and traveling up to speed. We'll continue to keep you updated.
The time now is 6:02, and this morning we're working for you and staying on top of the coronavirus developments here in our state. We've highlighted some counties where this is affecting, of course. We have Marion and Hendricks and Noble counties up to the north because that's where state health officials have confirmed cases of the coronavirus. The latest case to be reported is in Kendallville, which is north of Fort Wayne. The patient was seen at a walk-in clinic on March the 1st. The clinic is temporarily closed, and patients who visited that clinic on that day are being contacted.
And in Hendricks County, the virus is leading to the closure of Avon Community Schools. That's because a Hickory Elementary School student has tested positive for the virus. And we've also learned that a second student at an undisclosed school is also displaying symptoms of the virus. Officials have canceled all on-campus activities until after spring break. All on-campus classes, that is, and all activities, practices, and extracurriculars have been canceled as well. We have not heard how the cancellations will impact high school students competing in band and winter guard competitions this weekend. School leaders say to-go meals will be available for families who rely on school meals. Pickups for those will be at Avon Middle School North, Cedar Elementary, and the school administration building. A Hendricks County man is also being treated for coronavirus. He and a Marion County man who also tested positive for the virus attended the same conference in Boston. Others who attended the conference have also tested positive for coronavirus.
And this morning, the Indiana Department of Corrections is calling off visitations at a number of state prisons. Corrections officials say the coronavirus concerns are behind visitor restrictions. The impacted facilities include facilities in Plainfield, Indianapolis, and LaPorte County. The facilities are all in areas where a member of the public has been infected by the coronavirus. You can find a complete list of the impacted facilities right now on the RTV6 app.
And we have more details this morning. The coronavirus is impacting major events around the world, like the St. Patrick's Day parade in Boston and in Ireland. But so far, no major events here in central Indiana have been canceled due to the spread of the virus. One convention, the American Coding Show, has been postponed to a later date. Chris Gall with Visit Indy says city leaders and event facilities are taking a proactive approach in responding to the virus.
We are taking things week by week. They're ever evolving, and that's happening in every major city across the U.S. and internationally. And so at this point, we feel very confident in the steps we're taking preventatively and from a communication standpoint to be very transparent. But it's week by week as this continues to evolve.
And here's the latest. Chris Gall says it is up to event organizers to decide whether to cancel something in our city. There is a lot of misinformation surrounding the coronavirus. That's why our Scripps national team is getting answers to your questions. You can watch the special report, Coronavirus, The Facts, Friday at 7 o'clock right here on RTV6. And with so much information, we've compiled all of our stories on the coronavirus coverage in one place for you to see on our website. To find it, to read it, just visit theindychannel.com/coronavirus.
Tonight, students and parents are expected to raise questions at the Northwest Hendricks School Board meeting.
This comes after the firing of the attendance secretary last week. Our Alyssa Donovan is joining us live this morning. Alyssa, this is continued fallout from the handling of that sexual assault allegation.
That's right. And first last week, that attendance secretary was fired. That happened on Tuesday here at Tri-West High School. And then later in the week on Thursday, students staged a walkout in support of that staff member. Dave Pyatt and others questioned how Northwest Hendricks School Administration handled the claims against teacher and football coach Tyler Bruce. Bruce is charged with child seduction and obstruction of justice in connection with an alleged inappropriate relationship with a now 17-year-old student. Pyatt shared surveillance video related to those allegations with law enforcement and RTV6. He says he did not trust the district to preserve the footage. Pyatt says the video showed the accused Tyler Bruce and the student together in his office. According to Pyatt's termination letter, he was fired partially due to sharing that footage with RTV6. After the attendance secretary was let go, students decided to take a stand, staging the walkout. Parents also showed up to support their children and the staff member.
Mine's a freshman, and even he knows the difference between right and wrong, which is more than I can say for some of these adults that are involved in this situation.
When allegations against Bruce were brought forward last summer, the superintendent at the time recommended Bruce be fired. The Northwest Hendricks School Board voted to keep Bruce on paid administrative leave. Now, tonight's school board meeting is at 7 o'clock at Tri-West Middle School. Parents are expected to ask for the school board's resignation at that time. Reporting live, Alyssa Donovan, RTV6.
At 6:07, we continue to cover education here on Good Morning Indiana. IPS and the union representing the district's bus drivers, they've come to an agreement. It's designed to keep drivers from calling off work to use their sick days and interrupting bus service, as we saw a couple of days ago, before IPS transitions to a private transportation company over the summer. The agreement details the district's plan to pay drivers for their unused paid time off. Now the district is now offering transition bonuses through a number of incentives. Those include things like perfect attendance during state-mandated tests, attendance through the end of the school year, and a year's served bonus. We've reached out to the drivers' union for a comment on this agreement. We're still waiting for their response.
The family of a truck driver who died after a high-profile crash is thanking the community. Jeffrey Duke Denman was driving the tanker that crashed and exploded on the I-465 ramp to I-70 on the east side of Indianapolis. He died on Saturday after suffering severe injuries in the accident on February 20th. On Monday, Eskenazi Hospital released a statement from Denman's family saying, quote, "Although Duke did not win his battle and has gone home with the Lord, we have witnessed the tremendous outpouring of love and kindness, not just from Central Indiana, but throughout the country. We cannot begin to express our gratitude gratitude. Thank you to the Good Samaritans and the first responders who were on the scene of this horrific accident who saved Duke's life. Your selflessness in risking your own life to prolong Duke's is a testament to what is great about human nature, end quote.
It is 6:09. The district attorney for Southern Indiana says his office is reviewing hundreds of polling places. New at 6:13, we're breaking down what inspectors will be looking for. Todd.
And Lauren, it's a wet start to our Tuesday here across the area as rain showers continue to stream through the state. The good news is they will not last all day. In fact, they're starting to come to an end already in some western communities. We'll talk all about it coming up in your Storm Team 6 forecast. The time now is 6:09. You're watching Good Morning Indiana right here on RTV6.
Wake up to wow with Nutella.
The time now is 6:12. Welcome back to Good Morning Indiana. Here's a look at what's making headlines around our state. Let's begin in Vigo County. A Terre Haute man accused of pulling a gun on officers last week has faced similar charges before. Police shot Jeremy Ross at a gas station near Rose-Hulman Institute for Technology on Thursday night. Court documents show that Ross was out on bond for unlawful possession of a weapon. Now, Ross was taken to the hospital after being shot by police. As of this morning, he has not been booked into jail. A Jimmy John's driver from Angola, that's in northern Indiana, faces charges after a woman says he strangled her. The accused attack happened Friday night. The victim told police that 18-year-old Nakai Scroggins delivered her food and then asked to use the restroom. The victim says that Scroggins then came up behind her and pulled her out of her wheelchair. She says that Scroggins strangled her to unconsciousness. When police arrived, they found the woman lying on the floor. The case remains under investigation. And back here at home, the U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of Indiana, Josh Minkler, he says he's reviewing all of polling places in Southern Indiana. His office wants to make sure the polling places comply with the Americans with Disabilities Act. Minkler says counties found in violation can resolve this informally or enter a voluntary agreement, saying they'll upgrade their facilities before the November election. Now, counties found to engage in discrimination, he says, may face lawsuits.
It is arguably the second most important day of the 2020 election season thus far.
As John Lawrence reports, it's Super Tuesday 2, and 6 states are up for grabs, including a very important one up in the Great Lakes.
Voters in 6 states head to the polls on Super Tuesday 2, but one state is drawing extra attention.
Michigan, I'm counting on you in a big way.
On Tuesday, let's win here in Michigan.
The Wolverine State, more specifically its 125 pledged delegates, plays a pivotal role in the race Tuesday. Here's why. Former Vice President Joe Biden's decisive win in South Carolina last month basically kept his presidential hopes alive. And now on Super Tuesday 2, Senator Bernie Sanders pretty much needs to pull a Biden in Michigan, a state Sanders narrowly won in 2016.
Does anybody really think that that is going to be the campaign of excitement and energy that's going to grow the base that we need to defeat Trump? I don't think so. I say that honestly as a friend of Joe's.
Biden, who just got endorsements from 2 former candidates, Senators Kamala Harris and Cory Booker, has a comfy lead in Michigan, according to the latest Monmouth University poll.
You want a nominee who's going to beat Donald Trump, keep the House of Representatives, win back the United States Senate, join us.
As of Tuesday morning, fewer than 100 delegates separate Biden and Sanders, with California numbers still in flux. 1,991 delegates are needed to secure the nomination. I'm John Lawrence reporting.
Well, the other 5 states taking part in Super Tuesday 2 are Washington State, Idaho, North Dakota, Missouri, and Mississippi. They account for a combined 227 delegates.
Also happening today, Vice President Mike Pence, who leads the White House's novel coronavirus task force, will meet today with top officials. This is to discuss the country's health insurance companies. Leaders of United Healthcare Group, Aetna, Blue Cross Blue Shield, Humana, and Anthem are all expected to be at the meeting. President Trump today will award the Presidential Medal of Freedom to former U.S. Army Vice Chief of Staff, retired General Jack Keane. Keane served as Chief Operating Officer of the Army for more than 4 years, provided oversight and support for the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan, and was in the Pentagon on 9/11. The medal is the nation's highest civilian honor. And I'm sorry, I don't think we can bestow a high honor upon our Todd this morning because today's weather isn't too great.
Even though he is fabulous.
Yes, he is.
Every day is
but we are
fabulous,
hoping
right?
for a little continuation of Sunday's weather. Sunshine and 60 degrees.
Yeah, yesterday we were in the mid-60s as well before the rain arrived. Unfortunately, not going to repeat that. But hey, this time of year, anytime you're in the 60s, you're in pretty good shape. And we do have another 60 in our 7-day planning forecast. I'll show you that in just a minute. So you notice this little thin band of heavier rainfall that stretches on an angle from just north of Muncie down towards the Sullivan area. That's the actual cold front that's making its way through the area right now. So we've been dealing with rain ahead of this cold front, but as that front goes through, you're going to notice the temperatures to start to drop here throughout the morning hours. Martinsville to Nashville to Franklin, some pretty good rainfall is taking place. Off to the east, some scattered rain showers. Rushville to Connorsville over towards Richmond, and then as we slide to the north, here's that little burst of heavier rain that's getting ready to head into the Anderson area, as well as Noblesville, some light rain in Tipton, some heavier rain getting ready to push into the Carmel and Fishers area as well. And then to the north, Frankfort to Kokomo, we're dealing with some light rain showers that are currently making their way through the area. So as we work our way throughout the course of the next couple hours, the rain will be ending from west to east. So the further east you live, the longer you hang on to the rain. And it's starting to wrap up in Terre Haute, at least the numerous rain showers. There's still a few more showers off in Illinois that'll rotate through the middle half of the morning, but it'll just be hit or miss. So this is kind of the last hurrah for the rainfall right now. Unfortunately, the timing is just not all that great that it's during the morning commute here. But if your commute can hold off until about 8 o'clock this morning, I think you'll be in much better shape. At least you won't have to contend with the falling rain. And it'll just be a hit or miss shower here or there. As we get into the lunch hour, it will be dry. It'll be cloudy still. But as we progress throughout the afternoon hours, the clouds will start to break apart. We'll work more in the way of sunshine into the forecast. So it will get brighter as the day goes on. It's just not going to get any warmer. In fact, the warmest temperatures are occurring right now. We're at 57 in Indy as well as Bloomington. But you notice Crawfordsville down to 49, Lafayette now down to 50. This is kind of where we're all going to end up as far as temperatures later on this afternoon. As this colder air starts to come in, you do not have to worry about the 20s. We will not see those here across central Indiana. So your temperature trend throughout the day today will be hover right around 50 degrees with skies that'll be mostly cloudy. But again, they'll thin a little bit for some sunshine at times. Tomorrow's a pretty quiet weather day for us, back up into the mid-50s. Thursday is the day that we get back into the 60s with a high of 63 degrees. The trade-off, though, will be more rain showers in the forecast, and then we continue to have scattered showers in the forecast Friday, Saturday, and Sunday as it remains pretty unsettled. You see the rain in the 7-day there, but no day is a washout. There's plenty of dry hours mixed in as well. Lauren.
All right, Todd, thanks so much. We do have the wet roads out there this morning, and this is a look over on the east side. Our live drive vehicle giving you a picture of eastbound I-70 here approaching Post Road. You can see traffic is moving along just fine this morning. We'll continue to keep a close eye on those roads from our live drive vehicle, but now let's plan out your commute from our map on I-74 heading westbound this morning from Acton Road to the I-465 ramp system. No delays. It's a quick 5-minute drive. Well, speaking of delays, traffic congestion, it can cost Americans $88 billion. That's the number from just last year.
And luckily, this is not us on any given morning. Analytics company Inrex came up with a number based on how much time people lost sitting in big traffic. Boston ranked the most congested city in our country for the second straight year. The average commuter there lost, get this, 149 hours. Chicago, Philadelphia, New York City, and D.C. were next. INREX says that older cities tend to have more congestion because they were not built with traffic in mind. The good news, congestion appears to be stabilizing in some metro areas. I hope we are one of those metro areas.
The coronavirus is giving a lot of travelers an unwanted lesson in reading the fine print. Some airlines, hotels, and cruise lines have made exceptions to their cancellation policies for people who have to change their travel plans. But home rental sites, well, they're a little bit stricter. Right now, Airbnb will issue some refunds to travelers in highly affected areas like China, Italy, and South Korea. Travel experts say standard travel insurance probably won't help recoup costs if someone decides they don't want to travel just out of concern. Policies labeled cancel for any reason offer the most complete coverage.
Well, Sesame Street has a reminder for parents. Make sure your kids are counted in the census.
The census, my favorite time of the decade.
Census? What's that?
Oh, it is a special time when we count each person in every home in all the neighborhoods across the country.
Well, who better to reinforce the message than the Count himself? We're big fans of the Count at our household. The Muppet appears alongside beloved Sesame Street characters and celebrities in a series of public service announcements. Researchers say that in the last census, children under 5 were the most undercounted group. They estimate at least 1 million small children weren't reported. Many of them live in multi-generational households or had complicated custody arrangements. The PSAs will start airing this week in English and in Spanish.
I love me some Cookie Monster, so I will fill out the census for the Count and Cookie Monster.
You should read those numbers in the Count voice.
Yes.
We'll not do that. We'll not do that. Also a big fan of Big Bird. But okay, we're going to move on. Stock markets have not responded well to the coronavirus, and that has a lot of people worried. New at 6:27, we're looking at why maybe some positive news is coming your way when it comes to falling oil prices and interest rate cuts. You're watching Good Morning Indiana on this Tuesday. We'll be right back.
Dream Mattress Studio at Value City Furniture.
It is 6:25, and here is what is trending at 6, making history on the mat. For the first time ever, female wrestlers in Maryland had the same opportunities as males to compete for their own state championship. Saturday night, 123 girls from around Maryland competed. Indiana does not offer a high school state tournament, only for female wrestlers.
Girl power.
Wow.
Girls can do anything. I have a daughter, so they can do whatever they want. Now, from the mat to the trees, check this out. A hang gliding trip goes wrong for an Alabama man, but don't you worry, the pilot is expected to be okay. Really? Wow. The man became stuck in a tree near a launch site when rescuers arrived. The man had been stuck for nearly 3 hours. He was taken to hospital with a possibly leg injury, but we're told that he's going to be okay from that injury. What an experience. Whoa.
Crazy. Well, back on solid ground now. You can sleep next to elephants if your heart's desire. The resort here in Thailand offering jungle bubbles. The experience lets you sit and watch 3 rescued elephants. The air-conditioned bubble here includes a king-size bed and a bathroom.
Cool.
Yeah, but don't expect to touch the elephants. There is a strict no-touch policy.
Whoa.
You know what? That's okay. That is okay, I think. You get the experience of being up close and personal without bothering them in their
And there's a fence for some privacy.
You know, maybe,
it's good.
Could we get the bubbles at the Speedway, for race weekend?
Oh, a glamping.
Wouldn't that be nice?
Yeah.
I think you're onto something. If this whole TV gig doesn't work out, this guy's going to be out at the Speedway making those bubbles.
Doug Bowles, we need the bubbles at the Speedway.
Yeah. Oh, man.
We'll call them Bub Bowls.
Yes.
There you go. Look at that.
Trademarking that one.
Yeah.
All right, it's a wet morning for us across the area as this rain continues to stream from west to east. It's mild this morning, though, as you walk out the door. Temperatures are in the 50s. The problem is temperatures are going to fall as the rain comes to an end. So we'll deal with the rain showers through about 8 a.m. Once they move out, we'll deal with clouds through the middle half of the day. And then I'm hopeful for a little bit of sunshine later on this afternoon, but our highs have already occurred. We'll level off right around that 49-degree mark at 10 a.m. and then stay there for the remainder of much of the day.
Todd, thank you. This morning, market futures have been pointing to a higher open on Wall Street after the Dow's worst day in more than a decade. The Dow closed down over 2,000 points, nearly 8%. The fall's driven by worries about the impact of COVID-19 and an oil price fight between Russia and Saudi Arabia. Yesterday's massive stock market drop, along with falling oil prices, do have people worried.
This morning, our John Matteries is working for you and breaking down what this could mean for you and your wallet.
The spreading coronavirus coupled with the falling stock market has people worried about what's coming in the weeks ahead. But lost in all the headlines is that there actually is some good economic news in this for consumers. The Dow down 2,000 points in a day. More and more quarantines for suspected coronavirus. But in every crisis comes opportunity. In this one, it's a chance to save substantial money.
We're seeing now sub-3 rates on 30-year fixes.
Breon Price of Motto Mortgage is finding 30-year refi rates as low as 2.5%. For homeowners with good credit, that can save you $100 a month. Also, dropping interest rates mean lower credit card rates, making this a great time to consolidate higher interest interest credit cards. Meantime, plunging oil prices mean falling pump prices, with many stations now well below $2 a gallon and still falling. Sure, this may not be the best time to plan a trip, but it's a great time to consolidate your credit card debt or refinance your home so you don't waste your money. I'm John Matteries. Good morning, Indiana.
This is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
Now on Good Morning Indiana on this Tuesday morning, here's a look at your 6:30 news feed. There are now 4 confirmed cases of coronavirus in Indiana. COVID-19 is also causing Avon schools to cancel classes for the next 2 weeks after a confirmed case in a student and after a second student started showing symptoms. More team coverage of the coronavirus outbreak in 2 minutes after weather and traffic.
It's been 1 year and there is still no sign of baby Amaya Robertson. The then 8-month-old was first reported missing in March of 2019. Today, IMPD says that Amaya's case is still an active investigation and that officers, they continue to follow up on leads. If you have any information about the baby's disappearance, you're asked to call Crime Stoppers. That number, 317-262-TIPS.
Metro Police say 6 people have been arrested after an investigation related to gun violence and drug trafficking. IMPD says its Crime Gun Intelligence Center searched a home on South Meridian Street in late February and found 6 guns and a half a pound of marijuana and hydrocodone pills. Randolph Moore was arrested as the primary suspect. 5 others face various charges, including visiting a common nuisance.
Washington Township Schools says it is planning to move one of the district's middle schools. In May, the district will ask voters for a referendum, which includes relocating Northview Middle School from its current location at 86th and Westfield to a soccer field at 91st and College. Right now, 3 other schools and the transportation center sit on the same campus, and the district is running out of state.
From Hamilton County, Fishers Police will soon have a new K-9 officer. This is Rico. Rico is a 14-month-old Belgian. There he is, a 14-month-old Belgian Malinois, and will serve with Officer Jared Koopman as a narcotics K-9. Officer Koopman's previous K-9, Carly, was shot and killed while assisting at a manhunt last November. Rico won't start on the force for some time yet as he continues his training in Miami County.
All right, we got to get a check of our forecast for today. It's Tuesday. Todd Clausen is standing by with what we can expect today as we have a little bit of a cool down in place.
Yeah, 60s Sunday, yesterday. Today we're in the mid-50s right now. I can't complain, but yeah, it is going to cool down a little bit later on this afternoon as this rain moves out. So many of you, especially if we're walking out the door here shortly, are going to have to contend with this rain that is falling across central Indiana. We've kind of moved on from the heavier rain that was around about an hour to 2 hours ago, and most of it is fairly light. So that's at least some good news. As you noticed, a lot of green here compared to yellows, but there's still some pockets of what we'll call moderate rainfall between Shelbyville and Franklin over towards Martinsville and Columbus as well. Some lighter rain in Bloomington with a heavier downpour near Spencer. Then to the north, this is where the rain's a little bit heavy, especially you see this band that stretches just north of Noblesville off towards the northeast up into portions of the Gas City area in Blackford County. And that's the actual front that's going through. And it's that front that's going to start to drop our temperatures. We're sitting in the 50s right now where it's nice and mild. But the back edge of the rainfall already coming to an end there in western portions of the state. So we only deal with this rain for another hour to the 2 o'clock time, or the 2-hour time frame. That's on the eastern side of the state. Here's how it breaks down through the noon hour for you. While it's a wet and damp start, it's just cloudy through the noon hour. But you notice those temperatures get down to right around 49 degrees by the noon hour. We'll stay there. I am hoping for some sunshine. I think it's a possibility later on this afternoon. More on that coming up in just a few minutes. But right now at 6:32, let's get you updated on the roadways.
All right, Todd, as you mentioned, the rain is moving east, and so is our live drive vehicle. Our photographer, Shay Goodpaster, here in the driver's seat. This is a dash cam view as he's traveling eastbound on I-70 in the Greenfield area. Windshield wipers still working there, and it looks like we have a stalled vehicle in the right shoulder. But other than that, traffic is still traveling up to speed. We'll continue to keep you updated on any issues.
The coronavirus outbreak continues to spread. There are now 4 confirmed cases in Indiana, and that's with very little overall testing done so far.
So the latest two cases that were confirmed were an elementary school student in Avon and an adult in Noble County, that's in northeastern Indiana. The Noble County Health Department says that person visited 2 walk-in medical clinics, one on March 1st and another on March 5th, before their diagnosis. People who work at those clinics have been told to stay home and will be screened for possible exposure.
Also, Avon Community Schools announced it is shutting down all schools in the district for 2 weeks after a second student began showing symptoms of the disease. The virus has not yet been confirmed in that second student. Students will have e-learning days during that time. All after-school sports and activities have also been canceled through March 20th as a precaution. Avon schools will not resume classes until April 6th, as spring break was scheduled for the 2 weeks following the closure.
While school is out, parents in Avon are now faced with figuring out childcare. We talked with 2 moms who say it's going to be a tough situation for many families. They say they are lucky because their jobs are accommodating, but they may have to lean on others for help.
Just really lean on people around you, friends, family, if they're close by.
It's going to be rough and it's going to be difficult, but I'm glad that my kids go to a school system that do care enough to take action before it gets out of control.
Avon school administrators say that families that cannot access the e-learning days at home can fill out a form on their website to request packets for students. The district is also working on to-go food options for those who use their food services.
The time now is 6:34. An adult in Hendricks County that tested positive for the coronavirus over the weekend was screened using Indiana University's free virtual clinic app. IU Health says more than 200 people have taken advantage of the screening since the launch on Saturday. The program is staffed 24/7 with IU Health physicians and registered nurses who can screen patients from home. You can learn more about the app and how to use it right now on our website, theindychannel.com.
And here's a look at the latest map where the coronavirus has spread. This is a live tracker from the Center for Systems Science and Engineering at Johns Hopkins University. COVID-19 has now killed more than 4,000 people worldwide. About 3/4 of those are in China. More than half the people who tested positive for the virus have since recovered. As of now, more than 750 cases of the virus in the U.S. have been reported by state and local health departments. And after some early criticism that they waited too long to respond to the outbreak, the Trump administration says it will release more plans today to help people who are impacted by the coronavirus. This comes as some Republican lawmakers are now self-quarantining after one who previously suggested news of the virus was a hoax. ABC's Andrew Dimbert tells us the president says he's not worried about his own health.
More congressional caution in wake of the coronavirus spread in the states. Several Republican lawmakers, some the president recently spent time with, are self-quarantining. None are showing symptoms, but all came in contact with someone who has tested positive. The White House says the president is not personally worried about his own potential exposure to the virus and has not been tested.
He uses hand sanitizer all the time, so he's not concerned about this at all.
But there was worry on Wall Street. A market meltdown Monday following uncertainty over the outbreak. The Dow falling more than 2,000 points. Within minutes of opening Monday, stocks halted after plummeting 7%, hitting so-called circuit breakers, safety mechanisms meant to pause trading in the event of a major sell-off.
The effect of this virus is very broad-based and doing a lot of damage to the broader economy.
The president promising major economic plans to deal with the free fall.
We're going to be meeting with House Republicans, Mitch McConnell, everybody, and discussing a possible payroll tax cut or relief, substantial relief.
And HHS Secretary Alex Azar was pressed on knowing the number of Americans who have been tested, but says he can't give those numbers because most Americans who have been tested have been done so by hospitals and private labs, and those numbers haven't been shared with the CDC. Andrew Dimbert, ABC News, Washington.
The situation surrounding COVID-19 is changing every single day, and there is a lot of misinformation out there. That's why our Scripps national team is getting answers to your questions. Watch the special report, Coronavirus, The Facts, Friday at 7 o'clock right here on RTV6. You can also find the latest developments about the outbreak anytime on our website, theindychannel.com/coronavirus.
The time now is 6:37, and tonight students and parents are expected to raise a lot of questions at the Northwest Hendricks School Board meeting. This comes after the firing of an attendance secretary last week. That fire leading to a student walkout, and it all ties back to a teacher and coach accused of sexual misconduct with a student. Alyssa Donovan is live this morning. And Alyssa, this is a continued fallout, right, from the handling of a sexual misconduct allegation. So put this in perspective for us.
That's right. So this attendance secretary was fired last week after sharing surveillance video with RTV6. Then last week on Thursday, students held a walkout in support of that staff member. Now tonight, we are expecting students and their parents to come to that school board meeting tonight at 7 o'clock to voice their concern and their support for that staff member who was let go. Dave Pyatt shared video to Call 6 Investigates Kara Kenny, saying he did not trust the district to preserve the footage. That surveillance video related to the allegations against teacher Tyler Bruce. Bruce is accused of sexual misconduct with a student. Pyatt says the video shows the accused Bruce and the student alone together in his office. Pyatt was fired last Tuesday, partially for sharing that footage with RTV6, as stated in his termination letter. After Pyatt was fired, students and parents spoke out, some calling for the board to resign. We spoke to students last week about how they feel about the situation.
In school, they teach you, you always do the right thing, but it seems the message that they sent us is that if you do the right thing, that you're going to get in trouble for it and get punished.
An action item on the agenda tonight includes the approval of a policy which in part states the school corporation is committed to maintaining an environment free of harassment and that any type of inappropriate behavior that may lead to forms of illegal harassment will not be tolerated. Tonight's school board meeting is at 7 o'clock. That's going to be held at Tri-West Middle School. At that meeting, parents are expected to ask for the board's resignation. Reporting live, Alyssa Donovan, RTV6.
Alyssa, thank you. 6 more presidential primaries happening today. Next, we're going to show you why it may be make or break for one of the candidates looking for the Democratic nomination.
And there's a new man in charge at the State House. Next, the man who will control the gavel as state lawmakers wind down their work this year. It's 6:40. We'll be right back.
It is 6:42. The race for the White House continues today. Voters heading out to the polls in 6 states, and one candidate for the Democratic nomination needs a big win today to stop Joe Biden's momentum. It looks like Michigan could be make or break state, that is, for Bernie Sanders.
Yeah, Sanders picked up a surprise win there in 2016, his primary over Hillary Clinton, but Sanders is trailing Biden in every poll leading up to today's voting. Despite concerns about the coronavirus, it appears neither candidate is making any major changes to their campaign. At a rally in Detroit last night, supporters of Biden, they were given hand sanitizers as they entered the building. Both candidates are using the coronavirus spread to talk about their plans for the healthcare system. Of course, both candidates have plenty to say on this issue. We'll have much more, of course, on Good Morning America. The other states voting today, they include Idaho, Mississippi, Missouri, North Dakota, and Washington State.
At the state capitol, there is a new Speaker of the House in the final days of the 2020 legislative session.
All those in favor of this motion, please indicate by saying aye. Motion carries. Representative Todd Houston has been elected Speaker of the House of Representatives by acclamation. Congratulations.
Fisher's Representative Todd Houston is now the Speaker, replacing Brian Bosma. Last year, Bosma announced he would retire at the end of this session and not run for re-election. Bosma is the longest-serving House Speaker in Indiana history, and in a slightly unusual move, Bosma handed over the gavel before the end of the legislative session.
I know we all share the same goal of making Indiana a better place, which will mean that I will expect and vigorously enforce the rules and decorum of this body to ensure it's a place of thoughtful, spirited debate while honoring the importance of this institution.
Houston is scheduled to be the Speaker of the House for next year's session, but he must win re-election for that to happen. Bosma will finish out this session as a representative. It's expected to end tomorrow.
Well, do you or don't you? Next, we think we may finally have an answer for that question we've asked a lot while driving around Indiana's famous roundabouts. Todd.
All right, as you take to the roadways here this morning and start your Tuesday morning commute, you're walking out to rain. So the windshield wipers will be going for the morning drive, so we'll give you the yellow caution light. However, as you come home from work, we'll give you the green light. We'll have some sunshine and dry conditions. We'll talk more about your forecast for today and beyond coming up when Good Morning Indiana continues. The time now is 6:45.
Welcome back. We have our live drive vehicle out monitoring the roads, windshield wipers working. This is westbound I-70 near Shadeland Avenue heading towards Emerson Avenue. You can see drivers heading in from the east side are traveling up to speed. No issues here to slow you down. Well, new this morning, Fifth Third Bank faces allegations similar to those that cost Wells Fargo tens of millions of dollars in fines. Fifth Third is being sued by the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. The lawsuit says employees of Fifth Third opened fake accounts for customers in order to meet those aggressive sales targets. The bank says the lawsuit was not necessary after its investigation last month of what it called a, quote, small number of employees. Fifth Third says it has already investigated and found 1,100 accounts were opened fraudulently out of the 10 million existing accounts. The bank claims the amount of financial damage caused by the employees was less than $30,000. Well, since we have so many of them around central Indiana, it's a question that a lot of us have asked from time to time. Do you use your signal when you go around a roundabout?
Everyone seems to have a different answer, and the question was so controversial, it ended up in court.
And so the judges have ruled, and according to the Indiana Court of Appeals, the short answer, Meredith and Lauren?
Okay.
No.
Okay.
No. The ruling came in a case from Kosciuszko County. A police officer pulled a man over and wrote him a ticket because the man exited a roundabout without using his signal. The man's car was searched and drugs were found inside. The driver sued, saying he shouldn't have been pulled over in the first place, and the state appeals court ruled in his favor. The court says the state has never definitely passed a law governing the use of turn signals at roundabouts.
Now you know.
Now you know.
But also, don't carry drugs in your car either.
That could be a problem.
That's some sound advice for your Tuesday morning.
That's something, yeah.
All right. Also, some good advice would be to grab your umbrella if you're headed out the door right now, Todd.
Yeah, you'll need it this morning, probably for just another hour or two. That's the good news. You definitely don't need to carry it around all day long, but the rain continues to fall across a good portion of central Indiana. I'll kind of highlight, and we'll work our way along this thin band of heavier rainfall. This is the actual cold front that's coming through right now, and once this comes through, that's going to drop our temperatures from where they are right now in the 50s down a couple degrees heading throughout the remainder of the day. But Martinsville, get ready for some heavy rain. Bloomington as well. And as we slide in, we just had a quick burst of rain. We could hear it on the rooftop here at RTV6, and now it's pushing off towards the east as it makes its way towards Warren Township, up towards Lawrence as well. And this thin band of heavier rain extends all the way up into Hartford City, where it just went through. Muncie, you're up next for a quick burst of rain that'll be pretty heavy here, but there's no lightning. That's the good news. And as you look back off to the west, the rain becomes a lot more scattered in nature, and that's what we'll be enjoying later on this morning. So the further east you live, the longer you obviously will hang on to this rain as it's all moving from west to east across the area, and then back across Illinois, just a few spotty showers. So the day is not a washout, and you don't have to have the umbrella throughout the entire day. In fact, by 8, 9 o'clock, most of the rain's off into Ohio. There could be a lingering, very light, spotty shower through the middle half of the morning. But then once we get into the afternoon hours, the clouds will start to break apart. We'll get into some sunshine, especially with sunset now not occurring until almost 8 o'clock in the evening. So you'll have the opportunity, once you get home from work, if you want to go for a walk or maybe a run or just to get outside, that'll be the better opportunity, at least compared to this morning. We're still in the 50s in most locations. We dropped to 48 in Crawfordsville, 50 in Lafayette. We'll all end up right around 48 to 50 degrees for much of the afternoon, as the temperatures, once they drop, will hold pretty steady across the area. Not the best morning to walk the dog, but our featured dog of the day is Gator, sent in by Glenn. And Gator wants to get outside and play. You can see with the ball in his mouth. And there will be opportunity later on this afternoon with those temperatures in the 40s and some sunshine working its way into the forecast. Tomorrow, not a bad day, not a ton of sunshine. It's a little cooler to start with temperatures in the 40s, eventually going up to 55 degrees for the high temperature. We're back into the 60s on Thursday. A little better chance of some rain on Thursday, and then just spotty showers in the forecast Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Don't cancel any plans as of yet. It's not going to rain all day, and most of the rain that we will see over that time span, Lauren, is going to be fairly light.
All right, Todd, thanks so much. We are monitoring your commute on the east side right now from our live drive vehicle traveling westbound, approaching the Keystone Avenue area. On the Near East Side. Hit a little bit of a slow pocket of traffic. You can occasionally see some tail lights out this way. The slowest spot is between Emerson here and Keystone Avenue. Then it looks like things pick back up. Just a heads up as you're traveling through that area.
It is the age-old question. When you are confronted, is it fight or flight? Next, we may have an answer, and it came from a wrestling match. We'll show you the outcome coming up next.
Days from 4:30 to 7.
Welcome back. We are monitoring traffic this morning from Live Drive. You can see our photographer Shay Goodpasture here in the driver's seat using those windshield wipers this morning heading into the downtown area at the North Split. Traffic is still traveling in okay at this hour. We had a little bit of a slowdown westbound I-70 approaching Keystone Avenue. But it looks like things are back moving here downtown this morning.
The fight or flight reaction to stressful events has been studied by scientists for years, and now they have another example to look at closely.
And so this happened in all places on the wrestling mat. It's where usually the two competitors are ready to face each other head on.
Yeah, but that wasn't what happened here at this tournament in Ohio when a young man named Jeremiah stepped onto the mat for the first time. Wrestle, Jay! Lord have mercy. Oh, he's like, I'm out of here. Well, they tried to get little Jeremiah back, and so he got back in the circle, and his opponent tries again to make a move, and Jeremiah's like, nope, that's not going to happen. The good news is this all ended well, and you can see here Jeremiah and his opponent showing some great sportsmanship when it's all said and done.
I hope they got snacks.
How old are they?
So cute. I was expecting this to be older people, then I saw them. This is hilarious.
Yeah.
So.
Wow.
Oh, this is pretty
You know
cute.
what, Jeremiah? I don't blame you.
I don't think wrestling may be in his future.
No,
maybe
track.
Track, yes.
All right, rain's falling across most of central Indiana here this morning. It'll end by about 8 a.m. And then going forward in this forecast, we should see some sunshine this afternoon, but it will be cooler this afternoon with highs right around 49 degrees.
All right, Todd, thanks so much, and thank you for joining us. We're back here in 25 minutes and all throughout Good Morning America.
All your news throughout the day is on the RTV6 app.
Have a great day. Good Morning America next right here